Okay, good evening. Welcome, everyone. We have actually two meetings tonight, so we're going to start with our Truth and Taxation public hearing. So just a reminder, we'll have two public comment sessions tonight. So the first session will be just for comments on Truth and Taxation hearing. Then we'll have a second public comment section following when we open the regular agenda. So just to make sure we're on the same page. So why don't we start with the Truth and Taxation public hearing dated Monday, December 8th, 2025. It is 6 o'clock p.m. I would ask for a that's what I'm looking for. Roll call, I think we need, right?
Yeah, we're going to call it to order, and then the roll call is Commissioner Veer?
Yes.
Commissioner Posey?
Here.
Commissioner Weber?
Here.
Commissioner Carter? President Opiot?
Here. Okay, I think I want to read this first just to make sure everybody's on the same page. So,
Can we get a motion to open?
oh, yes, sure. Of course.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Veer?
Yes.
Commissioner Posey?
Yes.
Commissioner Weber?
Yes.
President Opiot?
Yes. All right, now I'm going to read my statement, right? All right, so this is a public hearing to approve a proposed property tax levy increase for the Park District of Grange, Cook County, Illinois for 2025. That's held today on December 8th, 536 East Avenue, Grange, Illinois, 60525 at 6 p.m. Any person desiring to appear at the public hearing and present testimony to the taxing district may contact us or Executive Director Bechtold via our email address. Point 2, the corporate and special purpose property taxes extended or abated for 2024 were $2,808,128. The proposed corporate and special purpose property taxes to be levied for 2025 are $2,964,635. This represents a 5.57% increase over the previous year. The property taxes extended for debt service and public building commission leases for 2024 were $1,364,831. The estimated property taxes to be levied for debt service and public building commission leases for 2025 are $1,309,237. The total property taxes extended or abated for 2024 were $4,172,959. The estimated total property taxes to be levied for 2025 are $4,273,872. This represents a 2.42% increase over the previous year. All right, now that we've entered that into the record, I would ask for any public comments related to the property tax increase that I just read, the information I just read.
I have a question. Do I have to do anything to recognize that Commissioner Carter is present?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, seeing no comments from the public, I'll ask if there are any board comments at this time.
None.
Seeing that there's none, I'll ask for a motion to close the Truth and Taxation public hearing.
Second.
Was that Commissioner Carter? Okay. Close it.
And Posey.
Okay, Commissioner Carter?
Aye.
Commissioner Posey?
Yes.
Commissioner Weber?
Yes.
Commissioner Veer?
Yes.
President Opiot?
Yes. Great, thank you. Let's move on. Now we will start the regular board meeting Monday, December 8th, 2025, 6 p.m. of the Park District of the Grange. I guess, again, we do a roll call technically.
Yep. Commissioner Veer?
Yes. Here.
Commissioner Posey?
Here.
Commissioner Weber?
Here.
Commissioner Carter?
Here.
President Opiot?
Here. A couple of introductions or announcements on my part. Thank you for coming out tonight. I know the weather's a little iffy this week, and I appreciate everybody putting in the extra effort to get in your cars and try to stay warm to get over here this evening. Also want to bring to your attention tomorrow night, we will be doing a tree lighting in Wyola Park at, I'm going to get this right, 6 o'clock p.m. I hope you'll join us there. That's always one of my favorite events of the year, just to see the trees lit up and Santa arrive. So that's always fun. Again, 6 p.m. at Wyola Park on 47th Street. With that said, are there any changes to the agenda this evening?
No changes.
All right, with none, let's move on to section 2.1. We'll move on to public comments. This is the first opportunity to do. This evening, I will turn over the microphone to our guests this evening, remember, please keep your comments to 3 minutes, and I would invite anyone to come up and make a statement. Also, if you would, please state your name and address. The floor is open.
Hi, I'm Nancy Bramson from Brookfield. I am glad to hear you'll be discussing and reconsidering the renaming of Community Park tonight. I hope that the comments heard at the last meeting in November from the residents of this historic community will be taken into consideration as you come to a solution that respects their wishes while finding another home for another park that can honor the legacy of Miss Pennycook. I look forward to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My name is Marian Hannah Wilson. I live at 958th Avenue. I just want to say I second everything that Nancy just said, and really hope that, as she said, Pennycook, Ms. Pennycook had nothing to do with the community center and everything to do with this building, so I would hope that you would consider renaming this building to honor her. That would be my suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Bessie Boyd from the Grange again. I must also say that I agree with the first two ladies that were here, and I was here a few weeks ago, advocating for the park to either remain the same as the East Side Community Center, but not to be named after someone that we don't know. Bottom line. Okay, so I am here to hear the vote and also hopefully hear the reasoning for the vote if it is not in our agreement. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Boyd.
So, Becky Lorenzen, and I second all of the comments that were just said.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no other public comment this evening, thank you very much for that. Let's move on to agenda item 3.0. I'm looking for approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting dated November 10th, 2025. Approval of the minutes of the executive session meeting of November 10th, 2025. Approval of the financial reports dated November 30th, 2025. And approval of the consolidated vouchers for December dated December 8th, 2025.
Can I interject?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't receive the minutes for the regular board meeting.
They were emailed to you?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Can I approve everything else except for that and go through that?
We can, if everybody didn't have a chance to review them, the best bet would be to push them to the next board meeting.
Okay.
Remove
Is that a
that from the consent agenda, unless we have three who did read them and want to just approve them. Well, Chris and Brad weren't here, so we should probably just push it.
Yeah, because we're going to need at least us three. So should we table that? Would you like to table that? I'm happy to table that. Okay, so we'll look for approval.
Sorry about that, my fault.
No, that's fine. We'll look for approval of the executive session meeting minutes, the financial reports, and the consolidated vouchers.
Yeah, I got all the rest except for the regular meeting.
Just the regular meeting, but you're fine with the executive.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so moved.
Can I get a second?
Bob should probably
Second.
second.
Thank you.
Commissioner Posey?
Yes.
Commissioner Veer?
Yes.
Commissioner Carter?
Abstain.
Commissioner Weber?
Yes.
Okay. President Open.
Yes. Let's move to 4.1, the director's reports.
That's me. Okay, so, sorry. I don't have much to add to my report. The referendum projects are coming along. They are putting up the band shell in the winter, so it's with the snow, so they are proceeding with that. I did just want to make a note. I know at the last board meeting, there were some questions about the multi-sport courts and not having two exits. So we did update all those. Community center will be put in once the weather permits. So we'll be putting a second exit in the multi-sport court. And then the other multi-sport courts that are going in at Gilbert and the pickleball courts, we're just assessing them all. So thank you for the residents to bring that to our attention, and we'll be making those changes to the plans. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
I just want to comment on the band shelter.
Mm-hmm.
That's big.
Mm-hmm.
It looks cool.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah, it looks really nice.
All right, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, let's move on to, what's next? I think we're doing Jamie with Finance and HR.
Hello, everybody. I don't have much to add to my submitted report. Just to note that I'm anticipating we should start seeing some of the property tax disbursements. They have a due date of December 15th. So I do anticipate maybe a couple disbursements hitting before the end of the calendar year, with hopefully a decent amount of property tax revenue to report at our first meeting in January.
Cash flow wise, we're still fine? Is that
Yes.
Okay, great. Any other questions? All right, let's move on to Kevin to talk about recreation.
I also don't have a whole lot to add. Like President Open mentioned, tomorrow night is our tree lighting at 6 o'clock at Wyola. So staff is getting ready to put on that event for tomorrow night. We are in the middle of registration for the winter spring season, so resident registration opened up last week. Non-resident registration opens up this Wednesday at 10. And then the only other thing I want to highlight from my report was we did receive a resignation from our recreation supervisor, Cindy DeNormandy. Her last day was on Saturday. So we are actively interviewing right now. Today was the first day of first round interviews for her replacements. So we are anticipating wrapping up interviews before the holidays and making an offer at some point right around that time frame with a start date shortly after the new year. Any questions?
I have one question for you. I think this was the first time we did the 10 o'clock registration start instead of the 8 in response to some residents asking because of commutes, to make it more a more accessible time for them. How did that turn out? Was there any feedback, or it was pretty quiet?
It was pretty quiet. I haven't heard of any issues with registration in terms of where we are at like the first 2 hours. I kind of track it. I run reports, so 10 a.m. versus noon this year, there was really not much difference in terms of activity.
Okay, great, thank you.
I would expect that the summer registration is a little more intensive as parents are looking to get their kids in a program that coincides with their work schedule. So is there any thought to putting some additional measures in place? I know last year it was a little wobbly.
Yeah, so we did move up registration, so that's going to happen in February now for summer camp. And then we will be working with our IT company, Novantech, to ensure that the the bandwidth is appropriate on our server to accommodate that type of traffic.
Great, thanks.
We're not moving to February, then do we have to do a marketing push earlier this year, or what are you thinking there?
Yeah, so those materials will actually go out the week of the 15th. So next
January.
week, it'll go out.
Okay.
We have our little mini camp brochure. So marketing specialist Katie Wagner is currently designing that and updating it. So that'll be a push that we have starting next week.
Okay, great. If there's no other questions for Kevin, let's turn to Mike to talk about facilities and operations.
Good evening, everybody. So not too much to add to my report. I did just want to make some clarifications on a Black Friday sale that I included in my report for the Grange business. We ran a sale from November 28th to December 1st to cover Black Friday and Cyber Monday. We did bring in, it was a very successful campaign first off, and we did bring in 26 personal training sessions, and I did double check that figure. There was over $9,000 in just revenue brought in for training. The details on that sale was you had to buy either a 5-pack or a 10-pack of personal training sessions. It was 10% off of a 5-pack and 15% off of a 10-pack. So we did also discover that most of those 26 packages were taken advantage of by clients that already existed, which was okay. It was just interesting to find that out. And then just another couple of things pertaining to fitness. We did wrap up a survey that I mentioned we sent out. We're in the process of analyzing the results. Very pleased with what we found. We had almost 400 answers or people respond to that, which is about 16% of our membership base, which is very good. We use QR codes and then an email blast to retrieve those answers and those survey results. The big highlight from there is the very last question I'd like to see is, would you recommend the Grange Fitness to your friends and family? And 99.2% said yes. So that's fantastic news that we'd like to see. We'll dive deeper into those results in the coming month. So just some other miscellaneous facilities updates. We will be completing a gymnasium refinishing and resurfacing of the basketball courts. That is going to start on December 15th, so just next Monday. We'll close the gym through the remainder of the week and then we'll reopen on that Sunday. I believe it's the 21st. I'm open to take any additional questions if you guys have any.
And do I understand during that gym closure, we have a partnership with, is it D105 is going to offer some space for gyms? Or
yeah, so we were able to secure gym space at Springer and 7th for the Grange Lions travel basketball program. So they are not going to be interrupted with their practice schedules. They'll just transfer over there for the week.
That's great. And I want to thank the school district for making those facilities available. And this, it's a great partnership. All right, if there's no further questions for Mike, we'll move on. We get a report from Larry regarding our outdoor spaces, parks maintenance.
Good evening, everybody. Hope you're all enjoying the cold and the snow. Aside from the snow removal that's going on, I don't have too much to add. Denning Park, the parking lot will be closed off for December 15th for a week or two for demolition of the building. And then Public Works has stored its vac truck with us for the winter, so they do have access to that if they need in case of an emergency. And I am open to any questions.
All right, seeing no questions, let's move on to action items. Action item 1 is discussion and/or approval of ordinance 02504, an ordinance levying and assessing taxes of the Park District of LaGrange, Cook County, Illinois for the 2025 tax levy year.
Thank you. I am going to pass this over to Jamie to discuss further.
So this is our annual ordinance approvals for our tax levy, our abating any of our bonds, the taxes on the bonds. I do want to make a note on ordinance 02506. This used to be coupled with another ordinance for one of our previous bonds. That bond did roll off, so that is paid in full. So we only have one revenue bond outstanding. So that did change a little bit from last year. So for those of you that served on the board last year, this will look pretty similar. So kind of going through it, President Opiot read the Truth in Taxation this morning, or earlier this meeting. And so the first ordinance is just levying and assessing the taxes for the Park District for 2025 year. So as you can see, grand total of taxes levied will be $2,964,633. This number is different than the overall amount that was approved in the truth in taxation, because this is not including any of our bonded interest due that is pulled out. So what would be approved, if the board is going to approve this tonight, would be the total taxes levied of $2,964,633. The subsequent ordinance that you'll see in your packet is ordinance 025-05. This is an ordinance directing the county clerk to reduce our tax levy in conjunction with the real estate. So should any requested levy amount exceed what is allowed to be levied by the tax cap calculation, there's that 3% loss reduction, then this automatically tells the county that we are authorizing them to adjust our tax amounts to be levied. So we are not levying more than we are allowed to. So that is a pretty standard ordinance. And then, like I said, that last ordinance, 02506, is to pay the principal and interest on our 2020A general obligation tax bond that was initially in the amount of $2,505,000. That is not, like I said, calculated into the 2025 tax levy, as that is separate, so it's not calculated in the overall figure.
Any questions from the commissioners? Or if none, I'd be looking for.
There's just a.
I'll do it. Is there a minor?
Yeah, there's a minor edit in the motion for ordinance. It should be 025. It says 02406. You see that?
I move that the board approves the following ordinances. Ordinance 025-04, an ordinance levying and assessing taxes of the Park District of Grange, Cook County, Illinois, for the 2025 tax levy. Ordinance 025-05, an ordinance directing the Cook County Clerk to reduce the Park District of Grange's real estate taxes tax levy 2025. Ordinance 025-06, an ordinance abating the taxes heretofore levied in year 2025 to pay principal and interest on 2.505 million, or 2,505,000 general obligation refunding park bonds, alternate revenue source, series 2028.
I'll second.
You did just fine, Chris.
You did great.
Those big numbers.
It's big numbers.
Commissioner Weber?
Yes.
Commissioner Carter?
Yes.
Commissioner Posey?
Yes.
Commissioner Veer?
Yes.
President Opez?
Yes. All right. I think that actually takes us all the way through. That was 5.1, 5.2, and 5.3.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on to 5.4, discussion and or possible approval of reconsideration of renaming Pennington Park, formerly Community Park. I think, to sort of recap, we had some feedback last month, and I think we just wanted to take an opportunity to reflect on that today and have a little bit of discussion after having a month to sit with that. So I'll just open the floors if anybody wants to make any comments or start a discussion here.
I do. I just want to respond to a couple of the comments that were made this evening. When I'm sitting here and I'm only going to speak from my own experience, when I'm here as a park commissioner, I'm not here thinking about I'm here thinking about all the parks and what's in the best interests of all the parks. Naming a park is a really difficult responsibility because you're it's almost never without controversy, a little bit of controversy, because someone may think that they should have their name on the park. Another person may think, and certainly the feedback we were getting was that maybe Ms. Pennicook wasn't the right name for community park. And one of the comments I heard was that Ms. Pennicook had nothing to do with the community center. And I take issue with that. First of all, let me be clear, I've never worked with Ms. Pennicook, and I was not on the board at the time that she was. It's my understanding that she really did a lot of work for the Park District, though. And that was one of the reasons, or was the primary reason, that her name was put up for this tremendous honor. We have a lot of parks that don't have names, or have names that are named after the street, like Elm Park, Spring Avenue Park. So this was a really, really big deal to name, to put someone's name up for the park. And her efforts in not only, well, with all the parks is frankly the reason that I thought naming a park, whether it's Community Park or Spring Avenue Park or any other park, that would be an appropriate thing to do given her contribution and her dedication to all of the parks. I took an oath when I became a park commissioner to support everyone in all of the parks, including Community Park, including Wyola, etc. So I take a little bit of issue that she has nothing to do with the community center, because I think when you're sitting up here, you do. That's by virtue of your position. That said, I am also here as a commissioner, and part of my job is to consider the feedback from the neighborhood, and though it would have, I would have loved to have heard it prior to us making that decision. It's still feedback that we're taking into consideration, and I have a better understanding, certainly, of why Community Park is particularly, or maybe more unique than Spring Avenue Park or Wyola Park. And we have made decisions before where we thought we were going to go in one direction and we ended up going in another. So I'm certainly open to reconsidering the naming of the Community Park to Pennington Park. But I wanted to take this time to just speak, not on behalf of Ms. Pennycook, certainly I'm not her, but to speak as a commissioner and to reassure and to state for the public that I work really hard. I as a park commissioner, and I suspect everyone here, we work really hard for all of the parks and for all of the community. And I just want that on to be said publicly.
I'd make some comments. So we are the Park District, and the naming rights are often done by people who served the Park District in the past. Just want to comment on a couple of things. So naming rights. In 1969, Eastview Park was named after Robert Sedgwick, who served the longest time on the board for 23 years. In 1973, Shama Park was renamed Bert E. Gordon Park. He was an 18-year commissioner and former board president. Another park was named Rotary Centennial Park. That was in 2005 for recognition of the donation of money to help that park. So these parks have all been renamed mostly to people who worked with the Park District directly or funded part of the Park District. Also, Denning Park, park was purchased from Mr. Denning and was named after him. I think it was a pretty good deal at the time. So, but I have heard that people don't know who Mary Ellen Pennycook is. So we're going to reflect on what she did with us. She's an attorney and longtime civic and philanthropic leader. She is a graduate of U of I with a law degree as well as her undergrad. She left the corporate law and shifted her focus to serving the community through board work, philanthropy, and nonprofit leadership. So she's also involved with the University of Illinois Foundation Board and the Chicago Athletic Advisory Board to the school. With her late husband, she created an endowment at the University of Illinois supporting future generations of students. She was on the Fenwick High School board. She's an active member of the St. Francis Xavier Parish and involved there as well. She and her John had 4 children, Katie, Charlie, Robbie, and Tommy. She's a grandmother of many of the kids who live local here as well. Before joining the Park District, Mary Ellen served on the Needs Assessment Task Force for the Park District. In 1999, the task force found that there was a significant space shortage with the Park District, which recommended a community recreation center, which started the whole process to get this building here. She was the commissioner from 2000, is that right, Jenny, 2000? 2000 or 2001?
I have 2001.
Okay, so until 2010. During that period, she played an active role in guiding long-term planning, facility development, and financial strategy. She became a president in 2010 until 2018. She led the district through significant redevelopment initiatives. Her leadership was pragmatic and growth-oriented. She supported redevelopment when it aligned with long-term community benefit, even when the decisions were difficult or controversial. She continued to serve throughout the loss of her husband during that time period, who died of cancer, which is very significant if anybody's been through that. In 2004, the interim director, Dean Business, found this building. And at that time, they had a referendum, sorry, one page, in 2005, and it was approved in April 2005 to purchase this building. It opened in September of 2006. This was in her time period. She also defended a plan to sell a portion of Gordon Park, which allowed for us to purchase additional land for this park to address a long-standing shortage of parking and make the center more functional and accessible. She was involved in the community center discussions and the transfer of initiating the conversations anyway, and transferring the community center from the village to the Park District. That's when the Park District initially took ownership of that property. She was also instrumental in the opening of the Grange Fitness, and that's when Jenny came. Mm-hmm. That was 2017. She developed the Meadowbrook Manor on the east side as well. It's on Ninth. Yep. So, I mean, in our viewpoint, if people say they don't know who she was, I mean, do you really know what the Park District is? Because she was involved for 18 years. So we're a little hurt by people saying that they don't know who she was. And I, like you, I take a little offense. Not offense, but I'm disturbed. So those are the legacy of her. And she's a wonderful person. She's really well-meaning, kind-hearted, very philanthropic. So that's kind of why we chose the naming of that. With all that being said, she doesn't want to get involved in the controversy of anybody that doesn't want her name there. And she graciously withdrew her name from the naming of that park. So that's my comments.
I'm just letting all that sit in right now.
Well, actually, I'll be, if anybody's could be as good as a commissioner and president as she was, she's a wonderful person to know.
All right, so on the agenda, thanks for doing the homework there, Commissioner Veer. I appreciate that. It's nice to make sure we all understand what we're talking about this evening, because it's a lot of information that maybe was not as accessible as some people would have liked, but now it's on the record, right?
I want to apologize as well. We did that quicker. It was a quick process. We had to get some stuff in time for things we had to get done. So I do apologize for the quickness of the process.
Well, I think I would say that it wasn't as contemplative as perhaps it should have, or it could have been. I mean, hindsight's 20/20. Mm-hmm. Maybe it could have been more contemplative. We certainly followed our rules, I believe, but it could have been more contemplative. It sounds like it's a moot point, or not a moot point, but it sounds like if she's withdrawing her name and does not want her name, then it would revert to, it's my understanding, it would revert to the existing.
Well, so technically we did pass motion, an amendment of the park name. So if we want to take her name off of the park per Bob's statement, then we would need to have a motion to remove that and rename the park. So if we want to do that, we have the option of doing that tonight because it is on the agenda. If we want to contemplate this, we can also table that and come back to it next month. I'm not advocating that we necessarily wait until next month. I'm just saying those are some options we have this evening as we discuss the issue. So if there's strong sentiment, someone can make a motion. We can address it this evening.
My feeling is that it should revert, again, recognizing that it is a big deal to name a park after a person, certainly a living person as well. I move to...
Can I say the motion?
Yes, please.
Okay. It would be, the board's going to move to amend the renaming of Community Park to Pennington Park and revert it back to Community Park.
That is my motion.
And that the action was taken on June. Let's get that in there too. Sorry. June 9th. So we're going to amend the action taken on June 9th. So Posey?
I'll second.
Okay. Commissioner Posey?
Yes.
Commissioner Veer?
Yes.
Commissioner Weber?
I wanted to talk a little bit more about it.
Oh,
Please.
So the original was the community center and then the park, right? So the original motion was Pennington Park and Lacey Community Center?
Lacey Community Center is not on the agenda and would remain the same.
But that was the original motion, right? That was the original, was it all together?
Let me check.
The reason I ask is my general, when I reflect on that vote, in general, I am not a hard and fast rule, but I don't, just because of what our past has done, I don't necessarily like naming things after people because reputations change, history changes reputations, but these parks and the public assets that we're tasked with, they're there for way past, for longer than that. So I guess if I was to go back, I would vote no for no naming rights on that park. But if we're only allowed to look at the one that she pulled her name out, so I guess it doesn't even, I'll respect that.
I think that's why we have.
I'll respect that.
That's why I made the motion, primarily because she withdrew her name from reconsideration, or from consideration.
She did that verbally too.
So to be clear, she wasn't withdrawing her name. We were getting feedback that people didn't want her name, and she therefore said that you can take my name off. It wasn't a formal withdrawal. It's just take it off.
I mean, there's been a few voices that have been opposed to her, but the few voices are doing that to. She has a great legacy, I think, to consider. So that's her choice. I approve.
Okay. Commissioner Carter?
No.
You're voting no? Yeah. Okay. And President Opiot?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Let's move on to Resolution R2507, a resolution to approve amendments to the joint agreement from the Southeast Association for Special Parks and Recreation, CSPAR.
Yep, so CSPAR, we're a member entity of CSPAR. We levy taxes for them, and they provide inclusion services and then programming for anyone who needs special rec or assistance. So we've been struggling. The CSPAR member entities are from DuPage County, Cook County, and Will County. Well, good old Cook County can't get their tax levying together. So we've run into some problems when we go into budgeting for CSPAR because we don't have our EAV or our payments are deferred. So the board, I'm on the board for CSPAR, and we discussed changing starting next year for the budget. We will look at the preceding year's EAV because we will always have that. And then moving the second payment that we pay to CSPAR to December, because again, we've been deferred in these tax payments. So essentially the resolution is to approve changing starting next year, using the previous year EAV report and pushing the second installment to December. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Sounds sensible.
If there's no questions, I'd look for a motion to approve Resolution R2507, amending the CSPAR joint agreement to 1, using the preceding calendar year equalized assessment valuation when calculating member contributions, and 2, extend the second installment payment due date to December.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Veer,
Yes.
Commissioner Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Weber,
Yes.
Commissioner Posey,
Yes.
President Opid.
Yes. 5.6, discussion annual approval of the 2024 referendum outdoor restroom facility design plans. An exciting topic.
If you have kids, yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so if you remember back earlier this year, we were going to do prefabs. Prefabs came in much more expensive. I think it was like $857,000. And so White and Company essentially said that they could design them for a more effective cost, and so they did that. So the previous prefabricated building option was $873,177. Keep in mind, these are cost estimates. And so that was what the budget came in when we went to the vendors. So they did the design, and they can get the Denning Park restrooms for $303,400 and the Sedgwick Park restrooms for $404,800. So that's $708,200, and then plus we had to pay the $60,000 for professional services, which was already approved by the board. So these are the designs they came up with. I did put in the prefab buildings at the last page of that section, just so you could see the difference. I think the new design is better than the prefab designs, but I'll open it up for discussion or questions.
A lot of time on fields, have spent a lot of time on soccer fields and on at baseball games and football games, and I love these designs. I think it makes sense. Having the lines preventing kids from being too wiggly and pushing each other, like having them all lined up logically as a parent, that makes sense to me. So,
yeah,
I agree.
Thanks for adding the overhang. That, I think that's important.
Yeah.
That looks great.
Sorry, I'm just gonna move.
Oh, what are these pieces here?
Those are just samples of all of the different bricks and materials.
What are you going with?
It's going to be the split face CMU. So these are just all the samples of it.
So you're using all these then? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's a blended. It's like cools and darks together. So I think it's a really nice combination.
Thank you.
Yeah, those are just the samples of all the materials.
Buildings have heat and air.
They will That's a good question. I do have to find that out.
I would assume not air.
I would assume not air too.
Not air conditioning.
Well, I'm just thinking these dark colored roofs are gonna make them really hot in the summer.
Maybe a fan.
I don't know.
That I would have to find out. We did not talk about that.
You know, I have those attic fans that are heat sensitive.
What's that?
You know, I have attic fans that are heat sensitive, maybe something like that would.
That said, we don't want to encourage people to hang out.
No, have you been to the soccer fields up at Schaumburg?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, when it's cold out, everybody's in the bathroom, there's a little heater in there. It's like the cold days of soccer.
It doesn't help.
It helps a little bit. It helps a little bit.
It doesn't help.
But they have like, I don't know, probably like 8. And in the men's room, there's urinals and stalls, but they're big bathrooms. They're not as small as this.
That field runs
I know.
all year long.
They make money on it.
All year long, like until 10:30 at night.
I know.
This is not
No, this is not
that
like
kind
that.
of operation.
I assume the plan is still to close these in the winter like we do
Yes.
presently?
Yes.
Just to make sure we're all on the same page, right?
Yes, they would be.
Who decides what times they're open and closed? Do they open on the weekends in the summer? Are they locked or are they coded? Or?
So how we do our Gordon Park ones is there's a code and they open at
6 a.m.
Yeah, and then they close at depending on programming, they close at 8 or 9. 9. So it's an automatic an automatic lock, but they are
What happens
open.
if somebody's in there after 9? They can get out.
They can get out.
But can they stay?
Yes, they can. So, and we have had that before, and then we just have to watch it a little bit more closely. And bring in law enforcement if we need to, because we have had that happen. So.
So they're on timers. Got it.
Timers, yes. Yes. And then they coincide with programming. So we normally try to close them around Halloween. Halloween is a fun day for park districts and portlets and youth.
I move to approve. I move the board approve the updated Denny and Sedgwick restroom facility plans dated December 8th, 2025.
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Weber,
Yes.
Commissioner Posey,
Yes.
Commissioner Carter,
Yes.
okay. Commissioner Veer,
Yes.
President Opiot.
Yes. That's the old one.
You know, it's funny because I think they do have a fan or something there on the old one.
Yeah, I put a text out, so hopefully they'll get back to me. But
Right. Regulations on that.
I'm pretty sure. We're going to move on to 5.7. This is the discussion and/or approval of the 2026 board meeting schedule. So on page 86, you do have the list of dates there. I know that Executive Director Bechtel cross-checked these against holidays, I think, and we're all clear there. We're still planning on having, I think, 2 meetings, April 20th, potentially on October 19th at the community center, as we've kind of tried to do traditionally. I think we were 1 short this year just because of the construction, so we couldn't get in there, but we'd like to go back to doing that on a basis. Anything to add to that?
I do not. No, we did, again, work around holidays, so.
So if there's
Motion
no,
to approve the new calendar?
2026 board meeting.
2026 meeting calendar.
Second.
Commissioner Carter,
Yes?
Commissioner Weber,
Yes.
Commissioner Posey,
Yes.
Commissioner Veer,
Yes.
President Opiot.
yes. Discussion and/or approval of Resolution R2506, authorizing the release and continued retention respectively of certain executive session.
So we do this every 6 months, June and December, and these, we look back 18 months and 1 day. So these are the meetings for executive session that would be opened if the public wanted to review them. So it would be June 12th, 2023. That was a medical review for an Achilles rupture for myself. My review, and then potential claims and or litigation. That was with Ansel Glink for property tax. It's right here. Sorry. It was tax rate settlement. So the Ansel Glink always helps us with our tax rate settlements. And then May 7th was for public office vacancy for Commissioner Shabato when he stepped down. That was your interviews. So we're looking to move Resolution R2506, a resolution authorizing the release and continued retention of certain executive session minutes and authorizing the destruction of verbatim recordings of specified board executive sessions.
So moved.
Second.
Ooh, keep my hair.
Sorry, that was 06. Sorry, Commissioner Veer.
Yes.
Commissioner Carter.
Yes.
Commissioner Weber.
Yep.
Commissioner Posey.
Yes.
President Opiot.
Yes. We'll move to board business, old business, and the first topic here, 6.1, is review of bid number 3 results for 2024 referendum Group B. This includes Cedric Park and Gilbert Park.
So we went out to bid for Group B parks, and these are all the results are in the board packet for you to review. We did have a good turnout. For construction management, all the bids are bid out by trade, not by park. So we're looking at trades. I just do want to note that none of this includes the OSLAD grant scope work at Sedgwick. And it also doesn't include any of the remediation work. And then we did have one non-responsive bid for the playground equipment, and so we will have to go out and rebid that. But we were very pleased with the bidding. White & Company has worked with all of these vendors and feel confident in their skills and abilities. There's no board action at this time as we're under a construction management agreement and White & Company manages all the contracts, but I am happy to answer any questions.
I just had one question regarding the no bid for the equipment. Does the need to rebid, does that put any of our timelines at jeopardy at this point, or how do we feel about that?
No, it doesn't. We still have some time for that, and the bidder for that has been Landworks, and they've been the only bidder. So we're actually hoping to try to find a couple more who can bid as well, so we have options. So, but we're still in a good timeline, and we've purchased the playground equipment for Gil. Like the purchases have already been made because those are owner purchase, so we don't have to worry about any of those.
So this is just labor, it's just install. Okay, okay.
Yep.
So no supply chain issues then is what I was thinking of.
No.
Okay, great. Thank you for explaining that. Are there any questions? Because there's no action for us.
That's what I was asking. When we use the lowest bid, White & Company has prior work experience with these people, so they have a past history of good work done. And
yes, and if they don't, they do a thorough
vetting.
Yep, and they vet all, the scope of work. They vet everything to make sure that the bid documents do match, and hence that's why they found Landworks non-responsive because it didn't meet.
Specs.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to 7.0 committee reports. Administration Committee, any updates, Commissioner Veer?
None.
Parks and Facilities, Commissioner Carter, any updates there?
Nope.
Okay, Recreation and Cultural Programming, Commissioner Posey, any updates there?
Nope.
Okay, great. Let's move on to 8.0. This is public comments. It's a second opportunity this evening, so we will open the floor again for public comment. Same rules apply. If you wouldn't mind, just state your name and I open the floor. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Good evening again, Dr. Bessie Boyd, 234 Sawyer Avenue. Couple of comments. First of all, I do want to say that thanking you for the reconsideration, but I do want to address the fact that when we say we do not know Ms. Pennycook, we did not know Ms. Pennycook. And we do thank you for giving us an update on Ms. Pennycook. Also, this board decided to not only rename the park, but you renamed the building. And so that within itself was a double shock. And to say that there's only a few voices, no, sir, there are many voices that had concerns about all of this, including renaming the building, even though we know that individual for years. Again, I must stress that the East Side considers the community center as the heart of our community. Unlike, I would say to you, any other park that you have, we are a very close-knit community. So we thank you for the reconsideration for sure. And we would like to also say that in terms of Ms. Pennycook, it is nothing at all against her. We take nothing against her achievements. It is merely the fact that our community, who did not know the works of her, who have not seen her in anything that we've done, we felt that consideration of someone else or leaving the park being named as it is, of which you all indicated today. So I stand to thank you for that reconsideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Nancy Bramson again. Well, this was an interesting discussion. Thank you for the decision. It wasn't, didn't know, it wasn't unclear how that was, you were going to go with that, but I appreciate that. I did not hear the same thing you all did from the residents' comments last month. I heard that this had less to do with Ms. Pennycook's legacy which was stated in the original statement in the board packet. And in the board packet, and her legacy is most definitely one that is remarkable and deserves acknowledgement in the highest regard, as pertains to that statement before. I didn't hear the same thing as you did on that, and it was just an interesting original choice to change the names, which I hear is not always done, to these two particular entities in this particular neighborhood, when there are a plethora of parks named for trees and water sources, that this sign representing Ms. Pennycook's legacy could have replaced. So that, I don't know, it was an interesting conversation. I'm glad for the outcome of it, and thank you for discussing it and bringing it to the table again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dr. Harold Gibson, and I'm at 103 Constant Avenue. I want to thank you very much for the history of Ms. Pennycook. But the whole thing is one, she has never been down to the community. So she's never participated to make us feel that she observed that we do exist, number one. Number two is there has been people that have been longer working in that community center for free to help with children with special needs that had service to this community that we're talking about, as well as Dr. Lacey, also too, both Reverend Shawan and Dr. Lacey. And churches have also put a lot of time into that community, as Dr. Boyd said, because of the fact that you do not look at our history into that community to see who was also dedicated to it and worked for it for free, not even under a salary or anything also. And I think that sometimes we feel that when decisions are made like this, that you're ignoring us. And through that, it brings very hostile feelings sometimes. And when we go back to the community, we're going to have to explain all this to a lot of people when you think about it. we're gonna have to deal with the community. You build it. And to think of the thing like Dr. Boyd said also too, it's part of our community, but it's also in our neighborhood. And things should be named for our neighborhood. I have one important question to ask. How many other places are named after African Americans in this city? Can you name one? That's another reason. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gibson. Any additional comments this evening? All right, thank you. We'll move on to board comments. I'll open the floor.
No comments.
I just want to thank the Park District for their continued support of the Wise Men tree sales, and I hope that the trees that they chose for you for tomorrow are as good as some of the other ones that are being purchased. And there are more trees to sell, so if anybody needs one, we would love to get a few more sold for the next week or so, probably.
Thank you. I want to commend the work on the referendums. I'm really pleased to see what's going on in the parks. I actually feel construction never runs on time. I've never seen that, but I think we've made amazing progress. Even though there are a few things that are behind, but really I'm impressed with how far we've come and the ability of the staff to make use of those referendum dollars to make some amazing changes. You know, I've been to a couple of those ribbon cuttings, and the parks are gorgeous. The playgrounds look refreshed. It's nice to see the kids out there again. I know a lot of those parks didn't have many kids in them, and now what I've seen in Wyola Park and Spring Park, and hopefully Rotary Park, we were out there last week, you know, it's really revitalized those spaces, and I'm glad to see them cleaned up and ready for use. It's just really heartwarming to see that. Just a reminder again, please come out tomorrow evening for the tree lighting. I would love to see everyone there, and I want to thank our residents again for showing up. It's always important to have you here, and I hope, please come back next month. You're welcome to come, even if there's not something exciting on the agenda.
Thank you.
All right, at this point, I think we are going to go into executive session, or no? No, we do not. Okay, so at this point then, I will change gears and go on to 11.0 action items. There's not an executive session, so actually 12.0 adjournment. I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Who, I'm sorry, who's that?
Carter. Commissioner Carter, second? Second. Here. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.